Have you ever felt overwhelmed by building the systems you need for your business to grow? Or like there just aren't enough hours in the day to get it all done? If so, this episode is for you. Today, I'm talking with Sara Ritchie, the leadership coach and operations expert who helps her clients stop drowning in chaos and start leading with clarity, confidence, and joy. Sara, I am so curious. You have worked with leaders, entrepreneurs, founders from all different walks of life. Why do you see so many female business owners struggling with their systems?
Oh gosh. I think we struggle with our systems because we're not clear on what we actually want. I think that we don't have clarity in what our business is actually doing and what the systems are that need to drive it. I also think as women and entrepreneurs, we're like shiny penny syndrome, where we're like, ooh, that looks good, and that looks good, and that looks good. And we take so much on at the same time. And while we're building, we're not creating and building our systems for everything to run in the background.
Yeah, that makes total sense. It's funny you say that. I can relate. Even last year, where we had really tremendous growth at the end of the
Mm.
year, I looked at some things I was doing and I was like, this isn't what I actually want to be doing. And I had to get so honest with myself and it was uncomfortable. It was felt hard because it required like tough conversations with people. And they're like we were building infrastructure, but I had gotten clearer and clearer over the course of the year about like what I really want and what's really aligned for me. And I realized that some of it was a should and some of it was what I thought I
Yeah.
was supposed to be doing, which I think can happen at any stage of the game. So giving myself permission and grace to be like, my intuition is telling me we need to shift this was powerful. And to your point, if you don't have that clarity in your vision, you can be building a beautiful system, but is it the system that's going to support you for what you really want? Right.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm curious in the work that you do, you probably support a lot of founders and visionaries, but a lot of them might be coming to you already clear in their vision. Or if you are needing to help someone clarify their vision, maybe someone's listening to this and they're like, I know I've got a big vision, but maybe parts of it feel unclear, or I'm building a should right now, if I'm being really honest. What are some of the conversations you have or the questions you ask to help your clients clarify their vision so that you are building the right thing alongside them?
Yeah. One of the things first, and I learned this from you, Elise, is what's fun for you. Like we don't want to wake up and look at our calendar and be like, oh gosh, I don't want to do this today, or this doesn't look like a great day for me, or I feel overwhelmed or too busy. And so, what in your vision drives and sparks happiness?
Mm.
And then from there, building on that. Like, how do you need to have a bigger vision? Do you need to pull some things out of your vision and concentrate on one or two things at a time? Also, I think asking the question, what's going to bring in money? We have a lot of ideas, and a lot of them are great. And a lot of them aren't going to bring in a lot of money. And so, what are your money goals? What are your financial goals? And then the last question I ask is like, where do you feel stuck? Because if you feel stuck on something, you're not going to, again, wake up in the morning and be like, I'm so excited to do this today, right? Like, so if you can kind of narrow down to what's really fun, where you really want to be during the day, then you can kind of hone into your vision and then create from there.
Wow. So there's a few things you said that I think are so key there. One, that you lead with fun. You and I were just having that
Yeah.
conversation about how you've evolved your business to really let in so much fun and to be with your grandbaby and to incorporate family. I used to think that it was like an F word. Like I think I'm
I know. You did too. The other F word, not the R, the other one. Yeah. Me
exactly.
too. Yeah.
It's so funny how we're trained, it can't be fun, like, you can't make money if you're not, serious and working all the time, and I had to wean that out of my system big time, and it is so I have built the belief and developed the belief, the more fun I have, the more money I'm making, And even today before that, like, right before this conversation with you, um, I was playing with my two-year-old. He's gonna be 3 in 4 days, but I was playing with him, like, building blocks and Legos. And now look, like, I got up early this morning, I did my thing, I did my morning routine, I did some of the higher leverage things first in my day, so I did those early, and I'm an early bird, so it's not difficult for me. But then, like, I intentionally prioritize throughout the day things that fill my cup into your and I wanna share that because I think what you said about what's fun for you, sometimes people forget, "Why am I doing this in the first place? Why am I building this business in the first place?" Um, and they forget to build in things that feel like rich experiences, that, like,
Yeah.
fill their cup so that they can then give to others. So, anything else you wanna add on that before we move on, before we keep going?
I'm with you. I thought it was the other F word. And as I was like working in my business, I didn't get any joy from it. And one of the things that I talked to other people and other women about was like, why are we doing this if it's not fun? Like, why are we doing this if we aren't playing? Why are we doing this if we like look at something and we're like, I don't want to do this, but I have to. I wanted to move into the I get to like, look at my calendar and do a podcast with Elise. I get to in 2 weeks, I'm gonna get to spend time with my daughter and my grandson while I'm working all day long.
Mm.
And that's what kind of brings me joy, and that's what makes me happy. You said your son's birthday, my younger daughter's birthday is actually on the 6th, so in a few more days. And, I get to take off work on Thursday and spend time with her and take her out to dinner and shop because she's going away for the weekend. So we get to build in these fun things, and if we're not doing it and enjoying it, then what are we doing? Like, that's a kind of a question I was stuck with last year, like, I have this business I'm growing, and how do I get to do it and enjoy it all at the same time while I'm living my life?
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good. And, having you in the community and remembering having that conversation with you and then seeing how you've implemented that this year and how you help others do the same, I think is so powerful. And one of the things that I believe in firmly that we talk about in the community, and you know this because you're on the calls, is every time you want to up level, you wanna increase the way I see it is increase both your level of feminine energy and your level of masculine. You
Mm.
gotta bring both, right? So I
Yeah.
guess that's where and I'd love your perspective on this. If we don't know how to infuse fun and feminine energy and we think, "Okay, I wanna go from 6 to 7 figures, I wanna go from 7 to 8," it's gonna mean more grinding, more systems, more hustle. Like, it might mean more systems, but if you're doing it in an energy of grinding and hustle, it's not gonna feel good. So what
Yeah.
I'm hearing from you, and then I'd love your take on this, is, okay, if I wanna elevate, I need to, number 1, really get clear on my vision, know what fills my joy cup, like, what is gonna make it feel great while I'm doing it, to your point of what would it look like to look at my calendar and have only things on there that I would love, which I used to be the opposite. I used to look at my calendar and dread it back when I was in corporate and then even early stage entrepreneurship. Not anymore. Like, I literally look at it in everything I love now. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, and then okay, what are the systems to build to help support that? Like the masculine energy and the infrastructure, but leading with the vision and the joy and the feminine energy. So is that how you see it too, or is there anything else you would add in there?
Yeah, I think one of the things I've learned in the past year is people do see systems and operations and the things that I love as very masculine. And I've tried to build femininity into it. I want to make it where systems feel feminine as well. We're women, we're building a business, and I do live in a lot of masculine energy, but I have to. But how do I get to create feminine energy with that? And I think that's where the joy and the fun and the visionary comes in. So again, like if you're not loving your day, how can you make it better? What else can you do? I have a visionary leader I'm working with now, and her favorite thing is yoga. And so we built in where she gets to go to yoga during lunch. And she gets to live in that feminine, and she loves it. And she's created her space and her calendar where she does her morning and she goes to yoga and she feels good afterwards. And then her afternoon is built where she doesn't have to worry, does my hair look great? Do I have enough makeup on? If I throw a shirt on or a sweatshirt over, like I was able to help her build that business around her feminine energy and what brings her joy. I have another woman I'm working with, and her feminine energy was all about her morning routine and how important that was to her. But her morning routine was different than mine and yours. I get up pretty early like you do. She didn't want to. That's not anything that she ever wanted to do, so hers starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, and she has an hour and a half built out, and that's, like, the feminine energy she wanted to bring as she's creating her business. Like, what do I get to do at 10 o'clock in the morning until 11:30 that brings me joy? And that's what she does, and then her calendar's built based on the afterwards of that.
Mm.
She wants to sleep in, and so I think, like, the masculine we need as business owners, but how do we get to bring in more feminine? And for me, in my business, that was the joy and the fun and the being online and the communities with my friends. And then figuring it out, like, how does that fit into what I want to do on a daily basis? And so, kind of, how do we balance the two so we still get stuff done? We still get to make money. We still have all this, the business side, but what do we get to do that's ours and that's feminine energy to bring it with it?
Yeah. That's so beautiful. That's so powerful. And what I love about what you shared is I used to think success was really prescriptive. So I would hear someone say, "Oh, hey, you got to get up at 5 a.m. and do your morning routine and do these things. And if you don't, then what's kind of inferred there? Like you're losing, you're behind." What I've learned is that it's not the things you do, it's your belief in them. It's the energy you're in when you're doing them. So someone can if someone had a belief system of, "Oh no, like I'm not an early bird, but if I don't wake up early, I'm going to be behind." They're going to have that experience. But to your client's point, if someone has a belief system that supports, I'm gonna follow my body rhythms, and my morning starts at 10, and I'm gonna have an hour and a half to myself, and that's beautiful, and then I'm gonna do the thing, and I will be successful in that way. They will have those results mirrored back to
Yeah.
them. So it's always belief system first, right? And then action second, which is the feminine and then the masculine. What do you see? I'm curious because I don't think this is just women, I think this is anyone, but for so many entrepreneurs, they think, "If I let something go, it's gonna fall apart," right? Or, "If I release this thing, if I go to yoga in the middle of the day, my business is gonna fall apart." What's the if you had to pick, like, the number one belief that was gonna support someone in scaling their business and getting the things off their plate that aren't the best and highest use of their time, what belief would you say would be most helpful to people?
Ooh, I love that. My belief, I would say, is that you get to do what you want to do.
Mm.
I feel like what you said earlier, like we feel like everybody else, like if I see you and Elise is up at 5 a.m. and I want to be successful like you are, I need to get up at 5 a.m. But I'm not going to, or I'm gonna hit the alarm 10 times. I have a feeling that for me, for years, I was like, you have to have the perfect little girls with my 2 daughters. They have to be dressed appropriately. They have to look cute all the time, even when we go to the grocery store. Like, I was raised by my grandmother too, like, you have to have the earrings on and the lipstick on, and if you don't, you're not the woman you should be. And I believed that for so long, but it's hard to take on, like, other people's beliefs. So, if I am running my business in my life of I get to be who I wanna be, I get to be like how I feel comfortable, which I don't wanna wear lipstick all the time, right? Like, I don't wanna put on the nice clothes all the time. I wanna sit on my couch sometimes with my computer, with my daughter beside me, and she's doing her schoolwork, and I'm doing running my business. That feels good to me, not being closed up in, like, somebody's box. So and it's a hard transition I've had to make, and now that I'm here, I'm like, "Oh, this is easy. I get to be who I wanna be." And like, my current Sarah is, business in the morning and business like, looking business, and in the afternoons, I've got on leggings and a sweatpants, and I'm usually on the couch with my computer and my daughter and our puppy, and we're just having fun, and in a couple of weeks, it's gonna be with my other daughter and my grandson, and my business is still running, all the things are happening, and I get to do it how, I believe is what's going to work best. And March may look totally different than June, right? In June, maybe I want to work from the beach. So we get to do it how, like, what feels best with us and don't have to listen to the outside. Like, how do we feel good when we're doing what we want to do?
Oh my gosh. So good. So, so good. What you just said, I think, is gold for a number of reasons, and it's so important. But it speaks to the power of, and when I say authenticity, I mean knowing yourself deeply.
Yeah.
I mean, stop looking outside of you at what you should be doing. What is so and so saying, or what is so and so doing? And really tuning in and saying, who am I? How am I wired? To your point, if you love business in the morning and being more with family in the afternoon, which is how I am, because I know after 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm like, I'm kind of done anyway. And that's the thing. I had to push through it or force through it. And now I just don't, because it doesn't really make a difference. When you know how you're wired, or maybe someone knows I'm actually way more of a night owl and I'm super creative, so I'm gonna wake up later and I'm gonna go to the beach and I'm gonna go surfing and then I'm gonna come in and work on my business in the evening. Like, knowing yourself, knowing your zones of genius as well. Where do you, to your point earlier about what makes you money, like where do you shine? Where are you actually in service and contribution? And you build the systems around yourself to help with that. That's so powerful, and I think that's part of the tremendous value that you provide for your clients and for anyone who hires you. Is there's a lot of, um, strategists and operations, leaders out there who are great, but they don't know how to help their clients tune into their actual vision and who they really are at their core and then build around that. And I think if you're not building on that foundation of truly knowing yourself, knowing how you're wired, knowing what you want, what success looks like to
Mhm.
you, not outside of you, you're gonna be building the wrong thing. So, yeah, just a solid amen to
Yes,
everything that you just
solid.
said.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, to that, as women, we're taught, I think not just women, men and too, we're taught that, like, when somebody looks successful, you follow them. Like, you do everything that they're doing. And if that doesn't feel good to you, then you're not going to be as successful as they are because they're doing what they want to do,
Mm,
right? They're not looking at anybody else. And so if we start to do the same thing, then we get to be successful and enjoy it at the same time and do it when we feel good at the times that are best for us.
yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so true, I think. And I think it gets to be a journey. I think about myself in my 20s. I mean, I knew parts of myself, but I didn't know a lot of myself that I know now, and I was really trying to play out of someone else's playbook, and that created a lot of burnout and exhaustion and
Mhm.
overwhelm and feelings of, tension and stress. And so I think the more you give yourself permission to think for yourself, to question everything
Yeah.
you've been taught, to say, "Who am I truly at my core? Who did I come here on this planet to be?" And, "Okay, now I'm gonna build a life, a business, and systems to help support me in that, to take things off my plate so I can continue to shine more fully, be in my zone of genius, do the things where I feel most alive and lit up." That's where we really get that kinda compound effect going where it feels like,
Yeah.
"Ooh, I'm taking off," and things are
Yeah, and that's one of the questions I ask any new clients that I'm working with. Like, what does your ideal schedule look like?
Mm.
What time do you get up? What time do you go to bed? Where is your family time? What does your family look like? Like, what do you want? What are your hobbies? Because I think if we don't know that about somebody we're working with, then we're not going to truly be able to help them and get them through. I last year started working with a woman CEO founder, and the first thing she said to me is I hate my calendar. Like, I don't like it at all. And I was like, "Well, what does an ideal week look like for you?" And she didn't even know at the time. She had no idea. And so we spent a long time like identifying what do you want to do every single day and including on the weekends and like what does that look like? And then it took a while and like the first ideation we built wasn't exactly it. And then after we kind of got it to where she wanted it, she started dating and then got into a serious relationship. And then he was in a different time zone. So we had to like work through it. So I also think looking at it like it's fluid, like what we're doing now in a couple of months may be very different, like you're in Maine, so what you do in the wintertime is very different than what you do in the summertime just because of the weather. And you have small children, and in a couple of years, they're going to be bigger. And then you get to do different things with them and have like that different schedule. So I think we also have to realize like everything is moving.
Mm.
And if we stay stuck and we feel like where we are right now is the same calendar or business that we're going to have in a year from now, then that's not going to do us any favors either. So, like who we are now is going to be different in a year from now, and staying fluid with that and continually asking questions so that your calendar and your business grows with you at the same time.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that, again, it's such a powerful approach to systems, which is generally more masculine energy that supports
Yeah.
structure, but leading with fluidity there and giving yourself permission to do that is critical. I want to ask something before we tell everyone where they can connect with you and work with you. They want your brilliance in on their team and their energy. But one of the things I think leaders can get caught up in is things that feel like fires or like reacting to the day, right? And I think
Mm.
there's probably a lot of psychology here as well as maybe like some tactical things to do. But I know one of the things that you teach and coach your clients on is the power of pause instead of overreacting with something. So, would you share how do you teach that? What does that mean? And what does that look like for someone who maybe wants that better feeling throughout their day where they don't feel like they're reacting to things, they're getting caught up in circumstance? But tell us a little bit more about that and how we can implement that power of pause.
Yeah. Have you ever been on a call or just gotten off a call and you feel like everything's on fire, and that, like you have to make 15 decisions all at one time? I think we've all felt like that. And so what I always recommend is just take a moment. Just breathe for a second. Like, if you're 3 minutes late to your next meeting, it's fine. It's gonna be okay. Because we have to kind of reset our nervous system, because if we feel like we're on fire, our team is gonna feel like it. And then we're gonna take that to our family as well. And so if we're always reacting, then our team is gonna react as well. And so if we just take a minute, and one of the questions I always ask is, what's most important first? And if you can solve that, and even if you can't solve it, but if you can come up with a couple of ideas and start working towards ideas, then that's going to help you. Another thing I always recommend is delegate, delegate, delegate. We can't do anything, and we have a team. And if, I always imagine and I tell people, like, if you're not delegating, then your team is wondering why you're not utilizing them. Why are you not using them to the best of their abilities? And some team members are like, why did you hire me if I'm not going to do much? Like, and we have so many team members that are like, how can I help you? And so, if you are feeling like everything's on fire, what is one thing a team member can help you with right now? And our team members, we can't expect perfection from them, just like we can't expect it from ourselves. So if they can get it up to 80% or 70% of what you're doing done, is better than perfect. Getting it done and getting it off your plate is what's so helpful. So when you're pausing, like, what's first? What needs to be done right now? And what can I get a team member to help me with? I have a virtual assistant, Maria, and every morning she's like, what can I do to help you? And if I'm not giving her anything, like, I'm paying her to sit there and do nothing, which doesn't make any sense. Like, why would I hire someone in the first place? And I think as women, we're like, oh, we have to do this and this and this and this. And it's my business, so I have to do these things. And we don't. We have a team, we have virtual assistants, we have, coworkers and family members that we can ask. And if we can give them the things, then that's helping us. And that's, helping our nervous system as well. Because it's about our nervous system. If our nervous system isn't settled, then the people around us, our team, our family, our kids, theirs isn't going to be settled either.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so true. It's so true. It's all a mirror. And I have
Yeah.
learned that like in moments where and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I've gotta go like message," but I message the team from a state of dysregulation. It's not good. Like it's not good.
Example, and they are, yeah, they hear it and they're like, "What? Oh no, she's on fire, so now I have to be on
And
fire
and
too."
it's like an amplifier, right? Because your team amplifies your energy or your kids amplify your energy. So I think I've learned and had beautiful lessons and opportunities over the years to not do that so much anymore, but definitely have had moments like that. And I think what you shared is so brilliant to first actually pause and realize in this state, number one, I'm not thinking at my highest level. And we know that neurologically, you can't think beyond the level of your emotional state. So if I'm in a state of stress and panic, anything that I am trying to do from that state, it's not gonna be powerful. It's not gonna be it would be better to probably do nothing, honestly,
Right.
in
Yeah.
those circumstances. So if you can get yourself regulated again and settled and then say, "What's one thing from that place of calm, what's one thing I can" I love that you said delegate. Really powerful. Not what's one thing I can do myself, but what's one thing I can delegate and
Delegate.
give to
Yeah.
someone else? That's leadership, and that's embodying the next level version of you who's available to receive more. So, that's beautiful. Yeah. Really, really good. Tell everyone, Sarah, if they are listening to this and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I want her energy. How do I hire her? How do I get her on my team?" I don't know if you'll still have spots available after this interview or not, 'cause I feel like a lot of people are gonna wanna work with you, but, how do people connect with you, learn more? I know you've got, I believe you've got a membership as well and different things you do, so tell everyone about how they can connect and get in your energy if they want some of
Yeah,
this.
I love that.
Yeah.
The easiest way is my website, which is my first and last name, SaraRitchie.com, and schedule a call with me. And then we can kind of learn to see where you are, where you're going, and what you need. And then, of course, on Instagram and LinkedIn. And then I have a podcast, The Operator's Edge, that is on all the podcast networks. So you can listen in there, and I do 10 to 15 minutes a week on systems and operations and how to lead your team and how to lead yourself as well.
That's amazing. That's so needed. And I've just really enjoyed talking with you about this. I used to resist these things or in the earlier days of my entrepreneurial journey. And what I've learned as I've ascended and shifted my belief systems and consciousness is like support is some of the greatest self care you can give yourself. And so, whether that's support in your business, support at home, freeing things up so that you can be fully in your energy, guarding your energy, knowing that that's your money maker, that's your happiness maker, that's your joy maker, and bringing in someone like you to help support yourself in freeing up that energy so that you can be your most thriving, happy, successful self is such a beautiful gift. So, this has been such a powerful conversation. Thank you. We'll link everything in the show notes. And I would highly encourage go follow Sarah now. And whenever you're listening to this is the perfect time. But I know in a couple weeks there's going to be some really cute grandbaby pics on your Instagram. Scheming baby pics because you're living what you teach, and you are as we're incorporating family and business, and it's really really beautiful. So thank you again, Sarah, for the conversation and for being part of our community and for the leadership and the brilliance that you bring. And to you, my listener, like I said, everything that Sarah listed will be linked here in the show notes so you can go connect with her and follow her. I want to thank you for listening to this episode and for being a part of the Superhuman Selling podcast community. And I want to remind you as we close to trust yourself on your path to success. Remember that your desires are green lights leading you and everyone around you to a brighter future. I'll see you on our next episode.